If your ink's too slow and your nib won't flow, here's one of the places that you can go. Larry is here to see you through with Mr. Announcer and Cubby too. It's Larry's Fountain Pen Reviews.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another Zoom. And today is Mr. Yochanan. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm surprised I didn't mess that one up. I'm really, really bad on pronouncing names. I can barely pronounce my own name. So anyway, he is the gentleman that does the journal, if you are not familiar. And he is going to go over and talk about his journey, how he got started, what got him started, and how he puts all these together. And so, Mr. Israel, it's all yours now. Take it away.
All right. Thank you. Hi, everybody. How's it going?
Very good. Go.
Okay. Let's see. Let me start just brief background, how I got started. It was basically in high school, and I was in a high school lit class, and the teacher happened to be somebody who was into journaling, and gave everybody in the class a journal and said, I want you to, write on something. And we did. And from that point on, I saw that it was a platform for me to basically bare my soul to myself if I needed to do that. And so fast forward, at age 70, I'm still journaling. And I'm not only am I journaling, I'm making journals as of 9 years ago. So 9 years ago, I decided that I wanted something that was more on a permanent basis. So leather seemed like could be like a good material to use for a cover. And so I went online and I met a gentleman named Ray Blake, who is out of the UK. And Ray makes journals out of leather. And he had a little tutorial, and I got the tutorial off of YouTube, and we connected after that, and he answered some of my questions and introduced me to this huge community of people that do what we do, and on Facebook. And so from that point, I joined quite a few groups on Facebook of people that journal. Some groups have 20,000, some have 15,000 members, and met other people that make journals as well. So we call them Traveler's Notebook. And the idea of a Traveler's Notebook, as far as I know, started with a Japanese company called Midori at the time, and now they're called Travelers Company. I don't know, some of you guys may be familiar with them. And so basically what they did was they took a flap of leather, connected elastic cords to it, and inserted paper inserts, which was a fabulous idea, pretty simple idea. It's one of those ideas where you say, I wish I had done that. And so this community of people that use and make Traveler's Notebooks utilize that type of method in order to make the journals and to use them as well. And so at this point, 9 years later, after making quite a few Traveler's Notebooks, I am retired. Retired from working a 40-hour week job, and I do this pretty much full time, if you want to call it that, and I reside in Gold Beach, Oregon, on the Oregon coast. And so for me, this journey has led me here to a community of people. My town is a town of 2,200 people. And so we have a lot of people that are into crafts and arts here. And so I just a year ago put my notebooks into a store that is right here in town. And they sell a lot of different craft stuff like pottery. And so when they saw me come in and you know, ask would I be able to put my notebooks in, they were overjoyed. You know, a lot of people journal. So my local outlet here is called the Little Greenhouse here in Gold Beach, and so they know me from my notebooks. So that's kind of my background, and I'm here to entertain any questions you guys might have. Now, let me just say this: what makes ZenCraft unique is the fact that I took what's called a standard size notebook. So if you look at something like this, if you guys can see this, this is a standard size notebook. And so what Larry has is a standard, and also what Mike has. Well, Mike, now you have a bigger one. I think you bought a A5 or was it A5 you bought?
Right. You sent me a standard one, and I bought an A5 as well. My wife took the standard one before I got to use it.
Yeah.
When she saw it, and it was gone.
So what I did was, because all Midori sells or Travelers Company, they sell standard size notebooks. And they sell passport size notebooks, right? Those are their two sizes. And so what I decided to do was, which made ZenCraft unique, was to get the international size chart for paper. And I think, Larry, you got that chart from the ZenCraft Travelers Notes group off of Facebook. I think you got it. And if not, I'll send it to you. And it has all of the different sizes of paper, right? And so what I decided to do was to make notebooks that held all of those sizes of paper, which it took it to another level, right? And not only do that, right, but also to add different sizes within those sizes. So for example, I have what's called a trifold, which this is what this is, a trifold size. So when you open it up, and one of the problems with a standard or any other size bifold is this part of the notebook isn't protected, right? The paper part on the edge isn't protected. So what the trifold does is it simply closes around it and protects it, right? And so I added that to all the sizes. And then I went a step further, well, several steps further, and made what's called a quad fold. And so the quad fold is basically a double notebook, right? So it folds inside of itself. So it has a left and a right side. So it has inserts on both sides, pockets on both sides, because it was important to have pockets that held different accessories for journaling. And so like writing tools, for example, right? And so over time, those accessory pockets started expanding and growing, and I added zippers to, and I think Larry, yours has a zipper on it, and Mike, yours does too, to the pockets, right? And so I continue to learn and continue to grow, and like I said, the sizes are on the international paper chart. If you can get that, if you guys don't have it, I'm happy to download it and give it to you. But I'm here to entertain any questions you might have about what I do.
I had a question. For some time, I've been looking for something.
Real quick, I have one, then I can take it. How did you get started and just pick up and do this?
Can you say that again? I didn't get you, broke up.
Can you hear
Go
me?
ahead. All right, go ahead.
Sorry.
Are we freezing up here or something? Hello.
Yeah, I'm here. Go ahead and repeat your question.
Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, oh, okay. I've been looking for something kind of like what you
Talk.
make, but maybe simpler.
Maybe you can hear you.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hear me okay? All right. I use a lot of these Rhodia pads.
Mhm.
I don't know which one it is. It's I guess maybe an 8.5 by 11. I'm not sure, but the
A4.
thing is I like the top spiral, and
Mhm.
so what I need is something that where I can take and slip in a slot.
Mhm.
So what I'd like is a basic full heavy leather, a nice quality leather
Mhm.
with a slot in it. But everything I see, the slot's like on the sides instead of
Can
on
you
the.
can you see this, Dan?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I did was, and what I do with a lot of mine is I create a pocket that has a slot cut in the top of the pocket, and so like for example, this is a Field Notes reporter's notepad, and it's a 4x8, right? And so you can just slide this right in the top pocket. And that way you can utilize it side by side with the insert, if that makes sense.
Do you have any this size with a slot?
I do not have one made already that size, but I do have a template that I have that's the other part to this is to create templates for every notebook design that I have. And I have quite a few templates.
Okay.
And so I have a template that would work for that size. Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. I can look on your website and see what you have there. That's ZenCraft?
Yeah, I'm on Etsy. If
Etsy,
you're
okay.
familiar with Etsy, so you would go ZenCraft, you would go Etsy.com/shop/ZenCraft leather.
Okay. Okay.
And you won't see one. I can tell you won't see one that size.
Yeah.
I'm constantly adding inventory.
Okay. Okay.
I'll send you his link. I'll send you his link, Dan.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
What? Okay. Thank you.
Questions?
What kind of leather do you use?
That's another thing. I use full grain leather most of the time, but I also use a lot of different materials like suede, different weights
See if you
of
can hear me now.
nubuck, if you're familiar with what nubuck is. So my notebooks, if you have an opportunity to go, are you on Facebook?
Yes.
Okay, if you join my group is ZenCraft Traveler's Notes.
I'm in it.
If you join that group and just scroll through it, you'll see all of the different designs that I've made over the years. My group started in 2015, right? And so you'll see all of it. So I use, for example, material. I'll use different types of material to add with the notebook. I use heavy duck canvas to add with leather. I also make bags, to carry the notebooks in. I make pen cases, right? For writing tools, So I'm not afraid to use different materials and to add those with leather, So I'm not strictly a leather guy, that makes just leather notebooks. If that helps.
Do you hand stitch or is it machine stitched?
It's machine stitched. Yeah, I have an industrial machine, which I currently have to go get tuned up. So I have another person that sews for me as well. An amazing guy who's been in a wheelchair for 30 years. He's paraplegic. And so he sews with he has a mouthpiece that he uses to sew with.
Hmm.
And yeah, just an amazing guy. So yeah, hand stitching is on my list of things to do, to learn. I had never hand stitched.
The lady who does Leather Imagine, some of hers are hand stitched.
Beautiful stuff she does.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. That's the other thing, you know, is I'm one of those people who I love the work, right? So I don't just promote what I do. I promote other people's work. I also buy other people's work, you know, from Australia to Germany to everywhere. People that do what I do. And if I like a piece that they've done, I'm like, you know, can I get a piece like that? You know, I just love the work, you know. So some people, they just make notebooks, right? And they're not interested in journaling. They're not interested in anything other than making the notebooks. I'm interested in both ends of it, you know, the using end and the making end of it, and what other people make as well. So, and you'll see that on my Facebook page. How many people are journalers in this group? Really? Okay. Good to know. Or do you guys belong to any groups on Facebook?
Not really.
So, yeah, how did you get started? You just woke up one day in high school and just say, hey, you know, I'm going to start making journals. I'm going to start journaling. What led you to this? What opened the door?
In addition to my high school journaling, you mean, or what?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, here you are going into high school and something hit you. You start journaling. What year was it? Your senior year that you started journaling?
Junior year.
And what
Junior,
did you journaling?
yeah, junior year of high school. And so, well, I think for me, journaling, like I needed to learn more about it, right? And I needed to learn because there are different aspects to journaling. You know, there's what I call a brain dump or a dome dump, I call it, right? Which is you basically bearing your soul to yourself. You know, that your experiences from day to day are captured, and then 5 years, 10 years, 20 years later, you go back and you look at them, and it's unbelievable, right? What you did in your life, you know. So that's the brain dump, you know. And the other aspects cover different categories that people have a tendency to gravitate towards in life, you know. Planning is a whole nother aspect of journaling. So planners, if people are familiar with planners, I use what's called a Hobonichi planner, which is a Japanese company, and they're well known in that community, you know. And so planning and journaling for different projects, you know, it's project journaling as well, you know. So I kind of do, like for ZenCraft, I have a specific journal for ZenCraft, you know. So, and what it does is it allows my creativity to take form in an organized way. Because if you look at my workshop, you would say, well, this is a crazy person works here, right? But I know where stuff is. You know, nobody else does. My wife will go down there and ask me where this is and that is, but I know where stuff is. But in order to plan a project, a big project, for example, when I started really with my website in 2015, on January 5th of 2015, I had to plan that whole thing out, right? I had a website. And so it required me to keep notes. And what better way to do that than to keep notes in a journal, you know? And so I learned a lot with that experience, you know, that having a website and doing what I do was just, it was synonymous to being in business. It was a business, right? but I took it from a hobby aspect. You know, for me, I started making them as a hobby. You know, but it quickly turned into something else. And so, how do you capture that, and how do you keep that so that it's organized? And that was a learning experience for me. So, if that helps, Larry.
What material do you use? It's leather, but is there certain?
Yeah, I full grain leather. I would say full grain leather. I use probably 80 to 85% full grain leather, and then in addition to that, I'll use suede. But to make those journals, if you look at the notebook you have, Larry, that's between 4 and 5 ounce full grain leather, and the belt that you have around it is yeah, that belt is made from Carolina boar, and it's probably 3 ounces, right? Wild boar, right? So when we talk about where the leather, where the hides come from, I don't use any. Some people use kangaroo and that kind of thing. I use primarily cow, lamb, deer, bison, and boar. That's what I use. But the majority is cow.
Yo, you don't use goat skin?
Very rarely, because goat skin is really thin, you know, and when you get into thinner leathers, you know, you aren't able to have the kind of construction that you need to make something like a notebook, you know. So for example, if I use something like goat skin, I'm using it with a backing. So I'll have like a lining that I'll add to that goat skin, and sew both of those pieces together, right? And then that way it gives it that form that it needs.
I just know
Do you,
goat skin is the
Scott,
new kind of hotness for high-end Bible covers, which is why I asked.
Mm-hmm. You know, when I've seen those, you know, I'm familiar with what you're talking about. And I think that if you're going to use goat skin to make one of those, I would make a folio as opposed to a notebook for those. And a folio is simply something that would slip into, the Bible would slip into, you know, like a glove, you know.
Do you dye your leather different colors?
Do I dye it? The only leather, there's 2 types of leather that I use, and I use oil tan leather, which basically comes already, you know, it comes up with the color that it's tan with, and that is after it's tan, it's dyed. So I already have that, you know, done. And then I use vegetable tan leather, which is a nude color leather, right? And I use dyes on that type of leather. So I have dyes that I use in order to create something that I want a specific color to be the outcome of. And I love that. I love working with veg tan leather. It's like going to art class. You know, it's a lot of fun working with veg tan leather. But oil tan is when you have a specific project in mind that basically veg tan can't cover, you know. And that's when you get into, you know, just really specific stuff, you know, because veg tan usually can cover most things.
Do you offer different types of closures?
Yes. The belt closure that you see Larry has, and I think Mike has too, is recent. That's a recent thing that I started doing. And I did one just to see how it would come out. And I said, wow, I like this closure, because when I think of like a diary or a notebook that's a personal journal, I think of a lock being on it, you know, and that provided that kind of security for it, you know. But I started with basically elastic cords, 2mm elastic cords, which is what Midori and Traveler's Company uses, right? And so that's pretty common. You'll see those are all over the place. But then I wanted to make it, I wanted to make journals that were unique, more unique, you know? So I started using different types of closures. And you'll see people that make journals have their own, you know, sort of prioritized way of creating a closure. Like you'll see, like Leather Imagined, I think you named her journals, that she has kind of this wraparound leather piece that she uses for a lot of them, you know, and a lot of other people use that as well. I'm not a big fan of that, but okay.
Yeah,
you know.
the one I have, she also uses the elastic, and then she has the elastic in the inside.
Oh, let's see it.
So you can do, you can put, you know, like I can do 4 different inserts in this one journal, which is kind of cool, because you know, you use this. I use this out in the field, and then I can go to different sections.
Yeah. I have 4 chords in mine too. All of mine have 4 chords. That's pretty standard. You know, there's 4 chords. Yeah.
Yeah, look, see, 4. Plus he has another notebook like Dan, you were thinking, on this side as well. And then I know this, he has a zipper that you can put whatever you want back in here. And then in the front of it, it has another opening here. You can put cards, letters, or whatever tickles your fancy in there.
Right.
Oh, that's really nice. Yeah.
How long does it take you to make one?
It depends. It depends. If I'm making a quad fold, you know, which is probably 2.5 feet wide when it's open, totally open. That can, and then, you know, it has pockets, you know, all the way across. Will probably take a day to make one of those. You know, simply because you're dealing with a lot of pockets that have to be sewn on, a lot of cutting of leather, you know. So yeah, those can take, but a notebook like you have would probably take a couple hours to do.
Back to Mark's question, he was wondering about was it just a cover for your Bible, Mark? Was that it?
Yes, I mean, there a lot of Bible covers now. The actual cover of the book are goatskin. It's pretty popular, and then people make like an envelope, maybe, I don't know how to say it, that you slide your Bible into, and those are goatskin as well. Usually goatskin like on marbled paper or something. And it just, to me, is an interesting concept. Goatskin is interesting leather because it's like really tough, but like very floppy, for lack of a better term.
Right.
Can you make those? Yep.
Yeah, I have made them. Usually what people will do is, you know, what I stopped doing, you know, I used to do orders. You know, people would order, you know, special order, different sizes. And I stopped doing that because it was too much. You know, it was just, at one point I had like 80 orders. I was getting backlogged, and it was just becoming too much. So, you know, what I started doing was basically making notebooks from the size categories from the International Paper chart, you know, and most of those covered you know, pretty much everything that everybody would use. But every time someone comes up and says, you know, I have a notebook, I have a Bible or something like that, then I just need to find out what size the Bible is, you know, and usually I can find something that fits it, you know.
When you say international size, would that be, for instance, an A5? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, if you go to the international paper chart,
Okay.
you'll see all of those different sizes, and I think it starts with A7, I believe,
Mhm.
you know, and then it goes all the way up, and I think A4 is
Yeah.
a bit
There's some odd ducks in there too.
like 11 by 17 or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Can you pull up any of your work at all?
Can I
And
what?
show can you pull up any of your work? You have a section of a whole bunch of different color journals. I think you had some smaller ones, some B5s or B4s, I don't remember. But can you pull any of it up and show it on the screen right now?
Oh, right now, no, I don't have that capability. I'm on an iPad.
iPad, okay. All right.
Yeah.
If anybody can do that, appreciate it. If you can't, cool. But what I last on there, you had a whole bunch of different colors: red, green, orange, red, brown.
You're breaking up.
Yeah.
Thanks, Doc.
Nice.
Mhm.
I didn't get any of that, Larry.
Pardon?
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. There's a shop. Okay.
You got a lot of nice stuff on there.
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
So the pen pouch I see, is that something that is an add-on, or is that separate where it's just laying on top of the notebook and it's buckled in?
It's a separate item to purchase. I think that if you're looking at, I think there's a black one that's connected to a notebook, and that is called a pen sling. And so the pen sling.
So it's the green. It's the one at the bottom.
Yeah.
The green for $40. Yeah, that one.
Right there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That right there is attached by a 2.5-inch wide elastic band, and it's attached to the notebook.
Oh,
So
cool. Okay, so you can put it on different notebooks.
yeah,
Okay.
you can put it on different notebooks, and also it has a zipper on the left side where you can put a smaller field notes notebook in, or what, loose papers, whatever.
Okay, that's nice.
Mhm.
And there's all the rivets on it.
The red one?
It's
Is it red,
no, more of a brown.
brown?
Scroll down. Yeah, right there, bottom left, the rust bison. I really like the
That one?
rivets on that one.
Which one? That one?
This one here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I call that a tactical, A5 tactical.
Ah, okay, that one. And what size is that? A5?
Yeah, A5.
And how many notebooks does that hold? 4?
It holds 4 directly on. It has 4 cords, elastic cords. But the thing that, and Larry, you're in my group, so I don't know how much you see on there, but I recently put on there, you can actually get 7-inch rubber bands.
Yeah,
And
yeah. You can piggyback them too, can't you? Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can connect them, so you can actually
Yeah.
hold 8 you know, inside if you want to do that. You know, you're connecting the two by a rubber band.
I'm trying to look at that one right there. What's the smallest one you make?
A micro.
A
Yeah,
micro.
yeah. The micro size is actually something that I was the first out of all the people that make notebooks. I brought that to the forefront because nobody was doing it, and I said, well, why not? You know, they make inserts for A7 inserts, right? So why not have a notebook to fit those? And so I started making micros. I call it micro.
What is your biggest seller?
What you have, the standard.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the biggest seller.
It's kind of like looking at all. Do you make pen cases as well, or just journals?
Yeah, pen cases, different styles, and you can see some of them here.
Okay.
Pen rolls, pouches, pencil pouches. You know, pouches that like the one you see there that attaches to the notebook.
Have you ran into any problems making journals because of the leather quality? It was hard to work with.
Yes, yes, and I not anymore, but initially I did because I was trying to learn more about leather. You know, so when I first started, I ran into problems. And, you know, one of them was learning how to purchase leather, you know, learning how to purchase the right leather, you know. So that was an initial problem that I resolved, you know, over time. You know, I learned what to buy, what not to buy, and who to buy it from, you know. So I have a company here in Oregon, and they're located in Bend, Oregon, called Maverick Leather, and Maverick is a family-owned business. And so they sell like Horween leathers and other leathers that are well known. So
So if anybody wants to order anything or have you make anything, they would go directly to you or to your Etsy account.
you know, this group can come to me directly, you know, because I would prefer that so that you would get something that you want. But at this particular time, I would say that if you have something that you're looking for, then just send me a message, you know, and tell me what you're looking for, you know, and then I'll try my best to accommodate you.
If anyone doesn't know what when he says those string inserts, I have a chic sparrow one here. So I have my calendar in here, a hobo 8. Well, this is an A6. So I have my calendar and one of the insert strings. I have a little notebook inside here. I have an address book, a little address insert book here, and just so you know, when you fall down this rabbit hole, they also have like so many accessories with these. So they have like these little plastic inserts where you can, you know, keep a little, you know, like I mean, I keep my a marker and a highlighter and a little insert, little plastic insert. I mean, you can really stuff these things, the spine, because I mean, leather is amazing. Spines are really thick and they go down really thin. So if you just have one little notebook in here, it works great. And if you stuff it, you know, it expands and works just as good.
Yeah. Jennifer does good work. She does. Yeah. Yeah.
So Mike, what do you think of your journal and what does Teresa think of hers?
Well, like I said, I got the standard one, and it came in the mail, and I unwrapped it, and unfortunately, I unwrapped it in front of my wife, and she immediately latched onto it, and she had, I mean, I basically I see her carrying it around, but I've never seen it since, other than that, and so I I went and got a. As you mentioned, I got an A5. I have, I've been doing a lot of A5. I use A5 books a lot. So I went ahead and got this A5 one, and I've actually been playing with it. As Liz was mentioning, these things are, there's very flexible. You can do lots of different things with these. And so I went right off the bat, I saw my wife, so I got the A5, and then I got the pen insert.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So of course, being the pen kind of person I am, so I've got pens in it, and actually I played around with it. As you mentioned, it's got an elastic strap here, so you can put it on there. I think in your picture you had the pens on the outside, but I've reversed it so the pens are on the inside. I've had the pens on the back side too, so that I see the notebooks when I open it. But now lately, this is, as you were talking about, I was going, oh, I should do this. This would be better for me. So just as we were talking, I rearranged it like this to put the pens on the inside cover. That way, when I close this up and latch it up, everything's contained. Everything's wrapped, everything's in the inside. There's nothing outside. If you wanted your pens to be really accessible, you'd put them on the outside like you had in your picture, and then you'd be able to get your pens immediately. But I prefer to have them, inside like this. And I have a Galen leather notebook. It's a nice, thick with Tomoe River paper that I kind of rotate through these. And so on this particular one, I chose not to put it on the little elastic strap, so I could just grab this and write with it. I could just grab it out of that notebook and run with it independently. So you don't have to strap them in. So I've got some extra straps available for other things in here, right? So I do have a couple other notebooks in there, and like you say, you got the zipper pouch. I think you were asking also about pen holders. I also got one of your rolls here.
Yeah.
Okay, and so again, this has got a nice snap and a strap, and it unrolls, and it's got a little zippered pouch here that you can use to carry all the other things. And then it's got all, I think this one holds 10, right? 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, this holds 10 pens. Okay, so it's a nice leather pen roll as well. So I also carry some
all
extra
leather.
Pen. Well, I think it's the outside is like a suede. Is that right? A suede leather? Is that what you call that? Yeah.
Yeah, the camo too.
And then the camo, it's got a camo leather here on the inside that holds the pens. Yeah. So I figured, you'd like the camo, huh? So yeah, there's the camo, insert here, or the inside that holds the pens, right? The pens slide in and out of that. Like so. Whoops. Okay. Well, you get the idea.
I like that.
Yeah, this is really, I saw this on your site too. So I think, like I said, I lost that original one. So I got on your site and I saw the A5 one, and then I saw the pen holder, and I saw this. I kind of went on a little bit of a spree and bought a couple things. But I've really enjoyed these. It's always nice to sometimes to just have a set of pens to carry around like this, Sure. And so it's good to have a pile of pens to carry with you. I usually, again, the three three is usually enough for me for my daily carry like this. So if you run out of ink on a pen, you always have a couple extras, or if you wanted to, you could have, another, you could have, a roller ball or whatever, or a pencil if you want to do that. But I usually just carry 3 fountain pens. So I really enjoyed it. The clasp works really well for me. I'll carry this around with me all the time. It's in my backpack with my laptop and all those other things. So when I get to work, the first thing I do is I set this out on my desk and unclasp it, open it up, and fold it out, and I'm ready to go. I've got the notebook and the pens all set to use. So that's how I've been using it.
They also have little markers in there as well. And has a little hand on one of them, that little hand, but you have two little strings in here that'll mark your pages for you as well, and which is pretty cool. And then back to this other one, you got a writing pad in here. It's a 5x8, and it now this pulls out if you want to back in. So that's pretty cool. And what else? Oh, I think you put the information on the back. Yeah. The one I have is the Pacific Crest Trail, the A5 big folder. Isn't that right? Yeah. And then the 5x8. So that's the size that this one is. So you sell a lot of these then?
Yes. Yeah. Well, and because that's the majority of the Travelers Company makes the standard size. And so my thing was to vary by making, for example, what's called a standard wide, right? Which is in between standard and A5, you know, because a lot of people stuff those notebooks. And so they need to be able to get more inserts in the notebook. And so I made a wider one so that, you know, you don't have what's called an overlap, right? Where the paper is sticking outside the leather.
Right.
You know? You want everything tucked in. So.
Okay. Anybody else have more questions? Somebody orders. I'm sorry. What?
Will has one.
All right, Will. Go ahead, Will.
Do you offer any kind of like monogramming or initialing or any of that, you know, to go on the notebooks?
Yeah, no. If you're dying to have something like that, I can do it. But as a rule, I try to stay away from that. Yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of people that make them do that. You know, I'm trying to stay away from that.
Can you get the camo suede on the outside?
Yeah. Can I make a notebook with just camo?
Yeah, with the camo suede, the camo leather.
Yeah. In fact, I have some. I'm a big camo fan too. And so I have quite a few where I've added, you know, made like just the camo and then made the pockets out of leather, a different color leather like brown, and added that to it. Yeah. Yeah, oh, definitely.
There's 11 million affluent duck hunters out there who would like go, wow, to keep their hunting notes and their hunting journals in, and I can put the word out on that.
You know what? Yeah. Well, I live in a place where there's a lot of hunters and fishermen and all of that. And I don't know that those guys necessarily write a lot. They may fish and they hunt a lot, but they don't write a lot. You know.
Well, I'll tell you the trick. I have a pretty fancy traveler's notebook, and I don't journal. I write 40 letters a week, but I don't journal. But what I do have in my book, I keep copious notes on every time I've ever gone duck hunting for the last 15 years, and I'll have people call me because nobody is more concerned about global warming than duck hunters. Nobody cares more than we do. Sure. And somebody will call me, hey, Mark, what was the temperature 10 years ago today? What was the temperature 5 years ago? Where was the wind blowing? And did we kill any birds? I'm like, hey, sure, no problem.
You got it.
That's what I do with my journal. I'm weird.
Yeah. No, I love cat. In fact, I don't know if whoever went on my website, I think I have one that's a standard wide, and it's digital camo, right, from the military, you know, with added brown leather pockets and stuff like that, you know. So yeah, love camo.
Yeah, you know, they're very versatile. So I have another A6 here from Foxy Fix, but this is where I keep all the inks. Well, you can't really see it, but I keep another notepad in here for the inks when I pen my ink my pens, and I know which ink is in which pen.
Right, a swatch.
I mean, you can keep notes on, you know, like when I go out in the field, I keep notes on the tracking of the seasonal the deer and they're with the bears and all that stuff for this volunteer work that I do. And so yeah, I mean that goes back 10 years, like Mark was saying. I can tell you what the temperature was, where how many cubs a bear had, and following the deer and the all the food and everything. So there's so many different things to use the journals for.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the swatch journals and pen journals are pretty popular now. People that collect pens. To keep a running list of your like your pens that you have versus pens that you want, a wish list, and also the ink journals for the swatches of inks that you use as well.
Okay. What else, folks? Anything else? Anything you like to add, Mr. Yo?
If you, I'm gonna have a sale coming up in May, so I know Larry, you were asking me about that as well, and so what I'll do is I'll notify you, Larry, and I'll let you guys know about it before it actually hits the public, but yeah, it's going to be probably closer to Memorial Weekend, but it'll be a big sale. Yeah. So I'll
let you put it in the group on Messenger and on Facebook, where we have a group at, put it in there and everybody will see it.
Say it again. Say that again.
Put that when you have that sale, put it in the group, and that way
On Facebook.
Facebook, yeah,
Okay.
and they'll all see it.
Okay, sounds good.
Now, when you have your sale, are they going to be just for the notebooks that you have already made, or is there going to be a waiting period because you need to make them?
No, it'll be ready to ship. It'll be what's already in the inventory. Yeah, and by then I'll have more. So.
Some of those camel ones ready.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I have some camo. So yeah, definitely be some camo.
I'm on it.
Okay. What size are you looking for?
Gosh, I don't know. I'm terrible at that. The size of like either a regular Life L writing pad or the the general basic traveler's notebook size.
Standard. Okay. Sounds good.
I'll try sharing my screen. I brought up your site. I've got I think it's I'll fire it up right now. There. I don't know if that's working for anybody. Do you see it?
Yep.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, cool.
Okay. Yeah, this is is this the one you have several that have camo on them, but this is an A5 bifold.
Yeah.
Yes, that's Mossio Bottomland camera.
Okay. And so, yeah, so this is, it's got the elastic band to close it. Here, I'll just go through your pictures here. Come on, site. There you go. So you can see it's got the lines to the lines to put the notebooks in with. It's got the note put on the left side that slides in from the top with the spiral binding. There you go. You've got it lifted up so you can see the inside of it a little bit better. So it's got the camo all the way through it. I guess this is the back side of it, and here's the sort of a top view of it. So that's a nice looking, notebook as well. I think you had another one. Let's see. I jumped here. This is I think you called it a camo Bedouin.
What's A5?
A5 is it's a pretty standard international size. That's the size that I usually carry around is an A5, but it's a little bit bigger, I think, than the.
It's about 1.5 inches wider than a standard. If you're talking width, they're the same, but
like 5.5 by 8.
Right. And so it basically then A4, the next size up that Dan was showing, that's sort of like an 8.5 by 11-ish kind of size. A5 is basically one of those cut in half. That's how those sizes work. A4 is twice as big. So this one here is a, oh, I don't see the size. Is this a B6? This particular one is a B6, okay? But you know,
okay.
yeah, that's what it says here on the site anyway. And again, so you got the, oh, this one's got the pouch on the left side here. And then it's got the slot for the notebook on the right side of it. Here, come on, there you go. So it has the slot here that you can slide a notebook into on the right side of this one. And of course, you can attach multiple little inserts. That's the nice thing about these, with these little straps like this is that you can pretty much put in anything you want.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very flexible. There's the back of it on this particular one. Okay, I'm gonna let go of the screen here if I can figure out how to do it. There we go.
Well, that was a nice tour. Okay. All right, folks, we're getting close to that time. Anybody needs to ask more questions, feel free to do it now or forever hold your peace. Watch that camel. Mark is going to go crazy over it now.
So I'll put the word out to Duck Hunting Nation.
Okay.
Hey, yo, if you get a big run on them camouflage notebooks from them duck hunters, make sure you put some orange glaze on them because they've been known to drink a little hot chocolate sitting in that duck blind, you know.
Is that what we drink, eh?
They don't use pen rolls. They use the duck call rolls.
That is true.
You have to put, they got to be a little bigger.
I remember that.
You might need to make an insert for the, like you did for the pens, with the elastic strap to hold the duck calls too.
There was a company called Drake that made a 100 duck call leather briefcase that would hold, like we put in pens for, going to shows, would hold 100 duck calls. And they did it as a lark and they made 100 of them. They sold out within 10 minutes and now those things cost like $2,000 on eBay if you can find one.
Wow.
I was not smart enough to get one when they came out.
It's awful nice getting to meet you there, Yo.
Yeah, same here.
Glad you came.
Beautiful work. Beautiful work.
Yes, thank you. Nice.
Thank you.
Hi, Lannis.
Hey there.
Hi,
How
Lance.
are you, Mark?
I'm fine.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought maybe you thought I was still nasty or something like that for commenting on your writing.
Okay, folks, anything else you need to ask him while he's here? You already got him talking about the sale next month, so we got him down for that. Mark got him talking about the camel right there, so we got him down on that. Stan, you hadn't said 2 words. He's bashful. Stan's bashful. Where's your cat at, Stan? Where's your cat?
Behind me, right there, sleeping.
Oh, okay.
Kitty,
Poor kitty.
Here, kitty, kitty, kitty.
Stan's cat's like a celebrity on Zoom.
What do you guys keep your pens in?
Oh, I have a chest where I keep all my pen stuff in. Pens, supplies, nibs, feeds and stuff like that.
How about when you're carrying pens outside your home?
I have a Franklin Christoph 3-pen case, and I have a bigger case from oh man, what's it called? Oxford Blood. I can't remember the name, but it's a 24-pen case.
Okay.
Oh, and I have 10-pen case, yeah, from them.
Okay.
Too.
I have a little lab that I use, which gives me lots of options. And then it opens and it has another flap here.
Oh, that's a nice one.
So
Yeah, nice.
I also have a couple pen rolls I use. I have a leather cigar case I use that my husband gave me when we first started dating many years ago. And then I have some individual sleeves that I made myself when I was playing around with the old sewing machine. Because it depends if I'm carrying them at school, they're usually going into like a pencil pouch, because as a teacher, I have about 12,000 of these various types that I carry depending on what bag I'm carrying.
Mhm. Okay.
Well, okay, folks, we're going to wrap it up. Unless Mr. Yo, you have anything else you'd like to add to it?
I think that's it.
All right, folks, that's going to wind it up for today. Have a big thrill today. Mr. Yo was on. He told you about his stash he carries. And don't forget, go ahead. Mark, don't forget Mr. Mark back there. You know what he's looking for.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait to see. If you get one, Mark, I want to see it. Yep. So, folks, that's about it. Hey, Mike, thanks for joining me. Everybody else, thanks for joining me. We're going to split cut the road and talk to you guys later.
Thanks a lot.
You and
Good luck,
you.
guys.
Bye, guys.